No.
Yeah, welcome back to the chill goth podcast.
Welcome back to the chill. That was my impression of Scream.
Screamo? No, it's got to be more like.
Yeah. No one wants to hear this at the very
now that we've
beginning
lost
of anything.
everyone listening.
It's literally the opposite of what is like a welcoming and warm intro to a podcast.
But welcome back to the Chill Spot podcast.
Welcome back to the Chill Spot podcast.
We're here for another damn week. Another week in this fucking hellhole.
Goddamn week. Week 213 of quarantine.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just watched the trailer for that shitty Michael Bay movie.
Yeah. No, I can't believe we're already at the point where people are making a movie. We're not even, U.S. isn't even beginning to be out of their pandemic, and they're already making movies about it.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
I don't know who wants that. I don't know who that film is for.
You want to know the sad answer, Sam? A lot of people.
Yeah.
Guarantee tons of people are going to watch that.
Well, I don't know why anybody, like, we are already, like, this time is such a hellscape. I don't know why anybody would want to be surrounded by, like, more of that sort of mindset. Like, there are some people who are just like, I just want to see what it's like. Like, some people are excited at the idea of an imagining of how bad things can get.
Yeah.
They're like, I want to see how bad it can go.
Morbid curiosity.
Yeah, morbid curiosity. I don't have that.
No, not at all.
I have no desire to see how bad something. Well, I guess like sometimes I do, but it's not like it's not in like life or death situations. It's more like, you know, when we plan our baking videos, I think like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? We burn a pan. Okay. You can clean a burnt pan. Let's go. It's not how bad.
That is not morbid curiosity.
How bad can this pandemic get? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I guess it's a little pessimistic, but it's not morbid.
Yeah.
I have no desire to know anybody like that. And if you watch that movie, and you know what? I don't even want to see the like hot takes videos that are like, I watched Michael Bay's Songbird, so you don't have to. Like, I don't want to see the Mac Does It video of like, I watched Songbird, so you don't have to.
Right,
it's like,
okay.
No, please, nobody go see this movie.
Well,
like, nobody watch this movie.
Is it going to be in theaters?
No, I'm speaking in my before times language. It just kind of came out of me. Please don't buy this movie on video on demand.
I don't care. I really don't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Who fucking cares?
It's like there was a lap dance scene where like a girl was in like a clear plastic like cat suit with a face shield on, and like the room lighting was all like pinkish and moody, and she was like crawling on top of a guy's lap, and I was just like, of course, Michael Bay, of course you would find a way to wedge sexuality into your like
pandemic
like fear-mongering movie about this hellish time that is ruining everybody's mental health right now.
Right.
Of course you would. Because you're a piece of shit. Like, you are such a piece of shit.
Well,
I'm not sexy. I'm not hot enough to be in a Michael Bay movie anytime soon. I don't give a fuck.
Well, I guess so, yeah.
Like, I'll burn that bridge right here, right now.
I mean, well, Michael Bay, he's been, like Megan Fox did a big expose on Michael Bay and how she was treated.
She just said that, like, she compared him to a Nazi on the set. And just said that it's like, it's always his way or the highway. And then he tried to ruin her career by being like, I gave you a career, shut up, bitch, and take your top off like you're good at.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, hey, did you see Jennifer's body? Like, why are you treating Megan Fox like this?
Well, it's funny, right? Because I actually heard a story, and this is
some time.
This is just a story, right?
Yeah.
But I heard Michael Bay is so frantic and so insane on set that he'll like point at someone and be like, you do this, and they'd be like, well, I'm not, that's not my job, and they'd be like, you're fired, get off set.
Yeah.
But then like an hour later they'll come back with a different shirt on and like continue working because he just doesn't notice stuff like that. And I really gotta, like, if that's true, I gotta imagine, like, what is that person's mental state like?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on in Michael Bay's head?
Yeah.
You know, is he just like, I'm the fucking best. I'm the best all the fucking time.
I have thought for some time now that the role of director is too, like, what's expected of a director is too powerful, and it attracts, like, it's magnetizing for like horrible control freaks. Like, not the kind of control freak where it's just like, oh, I just like everything to be like my way. It's like the most narcissistic control freak, like freaky,
I
not
think,
like beyond type A.
I think those are the directors you hear about. I mean, honestly, it's
I just think that
there's lots of good directors.
I think that the way that the role of a director is formed, like, you're right. Okay. Let me just say that I agree with you. You're right. There are plenty of directors in the industry right now who are lovely and show fantastic leadership and can produce really good art out of it without being an insufferable asshole. You're absolutely right. But I think that the way that it's structured right now is appetizing to the kind of person who is unwilling to let go of control in any ways, because when you're the director, everything goes through you. You have the vision, and sure, there are like multiple departments and like they're coming up with ideas, but you're, as the director, you're the one who's saying, yes, that fits in with my vision. No, that doesn't fit in with my vision. I need it to look more like XYZ.
Right.
And like people like Michael Bay, I want to say people like, I know Ridley Scott is like famously difficult. Who was the other one? Who directed The Shining and Space Odyssey?
That's Kubrick.
He's
an eccentric. Like, he was
the
a weirdo.
power that, but it attracts eccentrics because people like that love how everything has to just like flow through them first before it gets to the screen, before it gets presented to audiences everywhere. And it's just like I would like to see power distribution a little bit more.
If I can offer my 2 cents in that regard, like, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think that the director position is one that has lots of power.
Yeah.
And I think that it's one, well, obviously it directs everything. You're the director.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're the fucking leader here.
Yeah.
But I will say that there are a lot of people, a lot of working actors and artists who, like, maybe Michael Bay is not a good example, but like, who talk about the more eccentric directors as like, yeah, he was a weirdo, and yeah, you know, I didn't love his whole process, their whole process, but at the same time, like, look at the film that came out of it.
Yeah, yeah. And
I think if I could say, like, I think as long as you're not being like abusive and power trippy, like, you can get weird on a set as long as everyone's in on it.
But what I'm saying is that the power that you wield when you're a director attracts people who are power trippy.
Sure.
And it's just it worries me a little bit that it can attract those people.
I think, I mean, I'll be honest with you, but I think you could say the same thing about being a manager at a grocery store. Like, there are people out there who lack control in their own lives, who need positions of power so they can have control over something.
Yeah.
And that's not always the case, right?
Yeah.
But it is something interesting to think about.
Yeah. I mean, like, sure, fine, in the macro sense. I just think that, you know, how everything flows through one person, I just think it's a breeding ground for abuse, and it's like worrisome.
Well, I mean, especially because how many cases of abuse have happened in like the film industry since the dawn of time.
Yeah, also, you know what? You don't even have to be as good as Kubrick to get that way. There are like student films where like the director is tripping the fuck out on power and can't handle it.
I mean, there's people out there, and this is not like a dig on anyone. There's people out there who can't handle that kind of responsibility and power.
Yeah.
Like, they're just not. They want to make whatever they want to make, but the weight of needing to make all of the decisions is a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You know, and like, this is by no means a comparison, but when we did Red a couple years ago, I directed that.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm not going to say dinky, that'd be unfair, but like a smaller community production of a play that granted we all took very seriously.
With like no stakes, because it was just people who loved all of the people involved coming to see it.
We all loved the show. We were all friends. It was great.
Yeah.
Did it with Knockout, and they were awesome.
All of our families came, and it was just that kind of...
It was a good show. But even that, like, I'd wake up to messages or emails or texts, like, needing my attention.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to say, like, I wasn't like cracking under the pressure or anything. But could you imagine that times 1,000?
No, like,
because that's the big leagues, right?
I was listening to Mark Maron's WTF podcast, and he was interviewing Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio at the same time because they were doing press for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at the time. And like, Maron asked DiCaprio, like, so you've been in the film industry for so long, and you have such a fantastic career, like, you never want to consider directing? He was like, no way. I don't want that kind of responsibility. I don't want all of those decisions. Like, there's a lot of decision making involved with being a director, and I just don't want to make all of those decisions all of the time.
There's decisions you can't even dream of.
Yeah.
That are imperative.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's crazy.
Absolutely. And I totally get that. Like, that's why, like, I like the idea, especially as someone who wants to create their own work. Like, you would think that being a director would be attractive to me from the jump. But it's not like waking up to a million emails and they all need my answers and the entire vision is on me. Like it's just a lot of decision making. There's a lot of people coming up to you every day, like which fabric, which prop, which line do we cut, which line do we add, which lighting do we use, what time do we want to start tomorrow, we got to meet with this person, what should I tell them, It's like, oh my God. I would overload. I would burn out.
See, I think I'd be interested in directing again, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I wish I had better expectations for what to expect.
Yeah.
Because like that's something that was even then, like and I can't stress enough, it was just a fucking community show. But I wasn't prepped, like I asked like my stage manager at the time. I was like, okay, like you've been a stage manager for far longer than I've been a director. So like, what do you need from me?
Yeah.
And like she gave me some stuff and it was helpful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I still don't feel like I really have the kibosh down, Like I don't know if I was to direct something even 2% bigger, I'd be in a whole new world of that I've never done before.
Yeah.
Totally. And I just think that it takes a lot of guts to be a director, and it takes a lot of you have to be really, really solid in your foundations for what you want.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it sounds like what you want might be changing daily based on decisions.
But sometimes what you want doesn't change. And that's when you get those bullheaded, really super stubborn directors who just refuse to, because like one of the greatest lessons I ever learned in theater school was that you as a creator, you dream as big as you want. And then you tell everybody your enormous dreams. And then with whatever resources you have, you sort of adapt the dream into what it really is.
Yeah.
It's never exactly, unless you're goddamn Michael Scorsese, who probably made The Irishman exactly the way he wanted to, because he's Martin Scorsese.
The money and the talent to do so.
You adapt and change, and things maybe don't look, or maybe something sounded better in your head than it actually does. So you change it. But some directors are like, no, what's in my head is perfect. And they will not change. They will not work with you on that.
I just think that,
and it's horrendous.
I don't know, man. Like, I mean, you might repeat this sentiment as well. And it's funny that bring it to Drag Race. We're watching Drag Race right now, and it's interesting how so many of these queens, much like these stubborn directors, are so against process in that way, right?
The artistic process.
I understand that everyone has their own artistic process, in a sense, but at the same time, so much of my own creative process is collaborative. I see nothing wrong with being collaborative, And I don't understand why people would shy away from hearing ideas about your thing, Like, I understand there's such a thing as unsolicited advice and like an unsolicited criticism, which is rude. And like, if you don't want criticism, you're not entitled to get it. If you say, no, I don't want criticism, I don't have to tell you what I think about it.
Yeah.
But I think that if you say, you don't want criticism, you're truly missing out on making your dream, your vision, your whatever truly as big and realized as it could be.
I agree.
In my humble opinion.
I agree. As cool as it is, and we had this conversation in the car like last night, I think, like the narrative of like, this person created this show or this play or this movie and they did it all themselves.
It's bullshit.
It's such bullshit. And it's so, it's like, I don't want to see something that only had one person's input included in the process. I don't want to see that. That's extremely narrow-minded. And I don't think it produces, when one person thinks of something in their head and they work on it by themselves and it never reaches the ears of anybody else, and then you put it out there for millions of people to watch.
Yeah, it better really be good, because if it isn't,
I don't see how one person could successfully make a piece of art that impacts millions of people and not consult at least one other person to get a broader view.
I agree with that notion, but I think I would be lying, because there's a really good animated movie I like. It's called Red Line. It's about like these like intergalactic racers. And if I'm not mistaken, it was written, directed, and animated by one guy. But it was very like, his vision is so specific.
Yeah.
And that story is so specific.
Yeah.
That I think that you could probably get away with. He also spent like a decade working on it.
Yeah.
So like, I think something like that, where it's a passion project that you spend, every waking moment on, bless you, and
Excuse me, thank you.
come out with something something that is exactly, especially like animation, because like, animation's not like directing a movie where it's like, oh, we need to get the shot to make this look how I want it to look. No, animation is like, I'm just going to draw exactly what I want this to look like. Yeah. So I think like in a sense of Redline, like an example like that, you could probably get away with, you know, wearing a bunch of hats. But I think you're right. When it comes to something like theater or live action film or television or sometimes even animation, like you need hands in the pot. You know?
Yeah.
You need
Well, what I mean by that is like, okay, so this person who made Redline, so did he just like cover up all of his drawings and close every book and lock the room that he made Redline in and like no other eyes ever saw it?
I don't know.
You know,
I don't have enough info.
Did he show it to a friend? Did he show it to a partner? Does he have like, you know, like a kid that maybe came in and was like, Dad, what are you doing? Like, you know, like, right. and then somebody says something and then that inspires you to look at it from an angle that you never considered when you were working on it by yourself. That's more so what I mean.
Oh, okay, sure, okay.
That's more what I mean.
So even though he made it by himself, literally, it's not like he had. And I have no proof one way or the other.
Yeah.
But it's not like this was like a top secret like Disney vault, like you lock it away forever.
Yeah.
And then come out 10 years later with a finished product. Like he probably had some input.
I don't know if you can really make art like that, and I don't know that I would want to see any medium of art.
We've seen echo chamber
like
art.
That.
You and I, we've seen some echo chamber art. Not going to name any names.
Yeah,
I'll tell you after.
Okay,
but listen, you make art in an echo chamber, it's gonna smell like it.
Yeah,
you know? It's gonna come out stinky because you've been in an echo chamber this whole time.
Exactly, and it's just I think that to kind of circle back to where this conversation started, I feel like the role of the director, the duties of a director as it stands right now, can either, you know, invite someone who's really beautiful and is like open to collaboration and is willing to go with the flow of the piece as it, you know, fluxes and changes as the process goes on, or you know, like, or it inspires somebody who doesn't want to hear a single thing from anybody else outside of their own brain at all. And the art gets affected every single time. And it shows because you get shitty movies like Michael Bay movies where a bunch of yes men clearly just said, sure, Michael, make a movie about COVID-19. And sure, Michael, let's make up some dumb fictional bullshit that says that COVID-19 like spreads to the brain and like melts your brain down because people aren't scared enough right now. Yeah. Sure, Michael, go ahead. People need that shit right now.
It does feel a little irresponsible, doesn't it?
It's so irresponsible. And really just makes me think that he exists in a vacuum because no one else thought to say, maybe, you know, hey, I don't think anybody right now wants to hear this shit.
Well, you know the sad part is I was going to bring this up like ages ago, 17 minutes ago to be exact. When we were talking about this exact thing, I try to keep this in mind whenever I think about stuff, like especially really polarizing stuff, where it's like, you and I, as sensible human beings that we believe to be sensible, look at a trailer like Songbird and be like, who's this movie for? Mm-hmm. Movies don't get made for no one. Yeah. Which is the reality, right? Yeah. Someone is dying to see this movie.
I know.
Which is so crazy to me. Like, but you know what though? It really keeps you humble when you remember stuff like that.
But it's like, the person who is dying to see this movie is not the kind of person whose feelings we want to feed into right now.
Sure.
Whose vibe we want to feed into right now. I don't want to feed into the like tinfoil hat wearing nut job in a basement somewhere who thinks COVID is a fucking hoax.
Sure, okay.
And thinks that this is just going to be a grand old time because they're not taking the pandemic seriously anyways. I also don't want to feed into the, what's the term for someone? I don't want to feed into the hypochondriac who has been like holed up in their house since this whole pandemic started and is just like, this is my worst nightmare come true. And in some like twisted, self-flagellating moment watches this video and is like, gets even more scared of this virus, you know? I don't want to feed into that energy either. And I feel like those are the audiences that Michael Bay is like unknowingly going to feed into with this movie. And it's just like, buddy, stop. Just stop.
You know what I do want to see though?
What?
I gotta see that social distance lap dance scene. I need to see it.
It's not social distance though. She's just in like a clear. I mean, you can watch the trailer on Twitter if you want to. It's like in it for 2 seconds. She's dressed in like she's dressed in like a clear plastic suit. You know how some like you know how like clear clothes were kind of in fashion for a hot second
Yeah,
there.
for like a whole 2 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, before people realize that like your body gets hot and then like the outfit condensates and it looks really gross.
Of course.
So she was dressed in one of those. It's like a cat suit. And she's naked and like she's not wearing anything on underneath it, and then she's wearing a face shield. I don't remember if she had a mask on underneath the face shield, but she's wearing a face shield.
That's ineffective. You can't just wear the face shield.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is so stupid that you're.
Is the guy in like a full hazmat suit or something?
He's not in a hazmat suit, but he's completely dressed. He's fully dressed, and she's in like a clear plastic cat suit.
How do you film a scene like that with no irony? Like, how does anyone at any point while filming this movie go like, hey, so is this the dumbest movie we've ever made?
Like, what was set like, you know? What was set like while you filmed that? It's just absurd. And just the fact that there are actors in there that I respect. Like, I don't watch Riverdale, but like this KJ Apa actor who plays Archie on Riverdale, like he's been doing really well for himself, and I was I'm down to see where the rest of his career goes. I mean, people have certainly come back or made the best of worse, but
I mean, being in a Michael Bay movie, regardless of your opinion of the guy, is a big move.
Jaws 4 didn't sink Michael Caine, so like this movie, I'm not saying this movie's going to sink anybody's career, but I'm like not super happy that Craig Robinson is in this.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
He's so much better than that. What are you doing in a fear-inducing movie bullshit like this?
Well, because not everybody thinks like we do, where it's like, it's also important to remember that I really think this movie is going to be a flash in the pan. Like, this movie's going to come out, everyone's going to talk about it for a week, and then no one's ever going to talk about it
I think it's going to be like, remember 2012? You know the movie 2012?
Yeah, how could I forget?
I think it's going to sit in you know, Walmart bins next to 2012.
It's exactly where it's going to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's Walmart bin fodder.
Well, exactly. But you know, it's funny because I guess since film has been so shut down since COVID started, movies like this usually would just like fly under the fucking radar and just like come out, and then like
it would be
make some money.
It would be another like pandemic movie,
you know, and
like,
whatever.
Yeah, like Contagion.
But because there's like 3 movies coming out this year, if you haven't seen Tenet already, which I haven't, I actually really want to see it. Mm-hmm. You know, like people are dying for movies. I'm honestly dying a little bit for movies.
Oh, I'm wasting away without movies.
I really genuinely miss going to movie theaters. And in cases we live in Ontario, if cases in Ontario haven't been so bad, I was actually getting pretty close to consider to go.
Yeah.
Because I've had friends who went who said like, yeah, it was safe. Like, you know, no one sat next to each other and they fucking sprayed down that whole theater before we went in. So like, that's enough for me. But with the cases being so bad, I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Like it's
like
there's only so much.
There's only so much that the cleaning links that you go to can go, and at that point, there's a point where it's like you can't do anything because, excuse me, people out here are just sick. Like there's just sick people coming in droves and don't even know it to your theater, and there's just nothing you can do about that. You know, shit happens.
That happened.
You can take all the precautions you want, but shit just happens. Totally. And with the numbers being as high as they are, there's more of a chance that shit's going to happen. And I don't want that.
Well, I always think about this, right? It's the fun thing or your life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, bro. Like, I'd rather play the video games that I have piled up over the years of buying them and then not finishing them.
I still
versus going to the movie theater and dying.
However long this takes, if I just mind my P's and Q's and, you know, stay at home and do all the right things, the frustration and, you know, sadness that I'm feeling will have lasted for less time than if I had fucked around and like gotten sick and had to go through a whole ordeal. Yeah. You know, like let's say COVID lasts 2 years before we get a vaccine, and the vaccine can like come down to, you know, you and me who are just like not the demographic that they're going to be trying to get the vaccine out to first. 2 years of staying inside and not doing anything fun. Yeah. It sucks, but 2 years out of a potential, you know, like what's the average lifespan? Like 90 something years old now. Like it's getting higher. 2 years out of that to be safe and work for the greater good of humanity is like fine with me.
I could take, whatever.
I could do that.
Yeah, whatever.
If if we were playing a party game right now and like that was a card that was handed to me, they were like, okay, like you have to stay inside for 2 years of your life, but you're guaranteed to live until you're 96. I'd be like, cool, I can do that. Out of 96 years, I just have to spend 2 of them inside for the greater good. That's
94 more years. That's not so bad.
I can do that, mate. Yeah. Like that's a would you rather situation that I look at it like that. You know, I look at it as a would you rather situation that I actually have to like bone up to and like live out.
Would you rather lose 2 years of your life or go to a restaurant and die? It's like,
It's like, I think I can give up eating out for a couple of years.
I mean, my bank account has thanked me for not eating out as much.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
I spend no money.
I do miss the restaurant experience, though.
I miss it every day.
Because you and I loved going to restaurants.
I would love, like, when people say, oh, what's the thing you missed the most about the before times? It's dinner and a movie.
Yeah.
If you could give me dinner and a movie, guaranteed I don't get COVID, I would do unspeakable things to be able to have that experience.
Yeah, you'd kill a man.
And guaranteed not get sick. Yeah. And none of my family members get sick, you know? And I don't have to sacrifice anything. I would do that in a heartbeat. I miss dinner and a movie so bad. Mm-hmm. Going out like that, that's my favorite thing to do of all time.
What restaurant do you miss the absolute most?
Probably Fireside.
Me too, actually, I think.
I miss the experience. I miss the staff. I miss the food. I miss the early bird special ambiance that place has.
Yeah.
You know, I miss the plastic cups. The plastic Solo cups. I miss it. Not like the red ones, but like, you know how Solo makes like other cups.
Well, they got like the hard plastic ones.
Yeah, the hard frosty plastic.
They're sort of see-through, but like not really.
Yeah. Oh, I miss it.
I think I miss Fireside too.
Yeah.
I miss Fireside. I mean, I miss a lot of the Streetsville restaurants. Fireside, for those who don't know, if you're new here, is a local sort of like deli
diner deli and family
restaurant
diner
that Sam lives like 4 seconds away from.
Yeah, it's like around the corner from my house.
It's affordable and delicious.
The portion sizes are monstrous. God, in the best way.
I could fuck up a Godfather right now.
A chicken parm. They make really good desserts too. They have really good cream pies. I think they have like banana and coconut.
And their milkshakes, dude.
Oh, their key lime pie milkshake. I die. I love it. I think they actually just blend up a key lime. I think they make key lime pie there, and I think they just like blend up
some key lime pie.
It's so good.
I mean, that'd be fucking awesome.
That'd be delicious.
But you know what? I think a place like Fireside will be fine. Because people, I mean, from what I can tell, we actually. I mean,
the seniors alone are keeping it going.
Yeah, it's true. Those that haven't died yet are going to Fireside and spending their money. Yeah. And second we get the all clear and like, you know, we can go out and hug in the streets, you know, and I really think there will be like a fucking end of the revolution style, like, let's all.
Like a V-Day kiss.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Go out and kiss people you've never even met before.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I truly think that'll happen, though. I mean, hopefully it won't result in all of us getting COVID. But, yeah, man. It's crazy to think that, because I remember back in March, like, talking about, like, we were in deep lockdown, right? Yeah. And Mom, Dad, and I were like, sure, fine, we'll listen to what the government's saying. They said, like, 3 weeks, a month of this, like, March is a write-off, but, you know, June, we'll be back to normal. And we're in October, you know? And I mean, I think it's an amazing example of how us as human beings are able to adapt and change. And, like, it's a little upsetting that we have to adapt to something we couldn't, like, kick to the curb. Yeah. But at the same time, there are a certain amount of realities, right? And I think that's just one of them. Like, yeah.
No, it's a new normal.
New normal. That's exactly the word.
I was just thinking the other day, I was watching a John Mulaney a stand-up clip, because you know how you get sad sometimes. So I was watching a John Mulaney stand-up clip to try and make myself feel better. And I was reading through the comments just for shits and giggles. And one of the comments said, "How have I not heard of this guy before? I'm going to go watch all of his specials. I'm so excited."
I'd love to be that
And it was
guy.
from 7 months ago. So it was like beginning of the pandemic. And I was like, woo! that guy's in for a fantastic quarantine. Woo! And I meant it. I meant it.
Yeah.
I was like, I wish I had never heard of John Mulaney, and then I just like had, and I could just get obsessed with John Mulaney at the beginning of quarantine.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That would have gotten me through like 4 months right there.
Hell yeah.
That would have gotten me through 4 months of quarantine right
Sam,
there.
Great
Way to spend the time. Get into John Mulaney for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is the new normal that I'm in right now. I'm like, ooh, he's gonna have a good quarantine. So happy for this fella right here.
Get yourself some social distance takeout pizza.
Oh my God.
Leave it at the door. Watch some goddamn John Mulaney.
Have a great time.
Could you imagine being people who
So
were playing
dark.
like Breath of the Wild for the first time?
Oh my God.
In quarantine?
Can you
Like-
imagine like kids who have never seen, I mean like fuck J.K. Rowling, but could you imagine kids like getting into Harry Potter for the first time?
You read the whole series. All you have is time.
All you have
Read
is
the
time.
whole series. Read the whole series and then watch all the movies.
Get into
Even the bad ones.
to figure out which house you're in. Read about all of the creatures and rules and history of magic and all
Yeah.
of this shit. Watch the Fantastic Beasts movies. Get real sad about it. Like, get up into the discourse on Fantastic Beasts. Pop in and be like, so I'm 9 years old and I just watched Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald for the first time, and I just want to say, what the fuck? Oh my God, I
Don't tell my mom that I'm swearing on the internet. Funny about that. You know, I still haven't seen Grindelwald. I
haven't either.
But I have friends.
We watched the first one.
I have friends of ours who we did watch. Yeah, we watched the first Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
Which was a resounding meh, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just like the most average, painfully average movie that I've ever seen.
Big old meh.
And you know what, though? In a lot of ways, I think being painfully average is actually worse than being bad. Sometimes. Sometimes,
yeah. Because it's kind of funny to leave a theater, and I'm like, dating myself here, which is something I never thought I'd say, but it's really fun to leave a theater and be like, so what the fuck was this? What was that? What was that? What was that? And like laugh about how insanely bad a movie was. It's like almost more enjoyable. But when you leave a theater and a movie is just okay.
Or boring.
And you're like, so this part was good. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
But then this part was like not so great. And you're like, yeah, but it wasn't like the worst thing. Yeah.
2 hours.
And then there's just crickets, and you have nothing to talk about.
You want to go to Boston Pizza? But yeah, so I have a couple of friends of mine who've explained to me the plot of Grindelwald, and I actually read the synopsis
on Wikipedia.
And I gotta say, what the fuck?
I've never read a synopsis of it before. I want it because it's on Crave. We should watch it sometime.
Okay, I won't spoil nothing, but let's just say there's a plot point right at the end of the movie that fucks all of the canon.
Wow.
And like I could see why people would be upset about it.
Do you want to end this podcast and go start watching Crimes of Grindelwald?
We're only 32 minutes in.
I mean, when we're done, do you want to watch Crimes of Grindelwald tonight? You don't want to watch anything that's not Drag Race right now. I can't get you to watch anything that's not Drag Race.
We're deep in the Drag Race sauce. I was down to watch Great British Bake Off yesterday. You're the one who said to watch Drag Race.
No, I got that vibe from you. I got that vibe from you. I was like, Cam just wants to watch Drag Race, and I know it. I'm just going to give it to him.
Wow. You're putting that on me? Yeah, you were like, let's watch a baking show. And I was like, cool, we can watch the Great British Bake Off. Mm-hmm. And we sat down, and you were like, let's just watch Drag Race. And I'm like, you don't want to watch Baking Show? You're like, no. And then we put on Drag Race.
Because, I didn't want to... It also kind of gave me not a Sophie's choice, but just, it gave me a conundrum, right? Because when we finish streams, so we're streaming at 7 this week, so we finish the stream at around 10 p.m. But we like to get up before noon and record stuff during the day before the next stream. So we only have time at 10, 11 o'clock at night to really justify watching 2 episodes of something.
Right.
So it was either watch 1 episode of Bake Off or 1 episode of Drag Race, or 2 episodes of Drag Race. We could have watched 2 episodes of Bake Off as well, but we've never watched Great British Bake Off before, so we don't know how much we're going to like it. So we might, and we also we do like getting through these Drag Race seasons. Yeah. So
I'd be down to finish season 6 of Drag Race and then start the Great British
Bake Off. Yeah, for sure. But it was kind of the option was really either 2 episodes of Drag Race or 1 episode of Drag Race and 1 episode of Great British Bake Off. And, those are options.
Sure.
And I'm sure everybody listening at home now is just thinking about, well, what option would I take? Well, you get 2 shows for the price of 1 kind of if you watch 1 Drag Race, 1 Bake Off.
Sure.
And then some people are like, well, you know, it's a new TV show. I don't know if I'm going to like it that much. So if Great British Bake Off is a dud, then you've wasted one episode.
Right.
It's kind of risky to like watch one episode of something that you might not even like.
Episode of your time.
And then you only get to watch one episode of the thing that you know that you like. So why not watch 2 episodes of something that you know you're going to enjoy for that like 2 hours, you know?
Yeah.
Like, let's just have a good time.
I agree with that. Yeah.
It was a bit of a conundrum.
I mean, that's what keeps me watching reruns of Brooklyn Nine-Nine as opposed to any of the other TV
anything new. That's why
I could watch.
That's why I never watch anything new, because it's changed a lot. I'm a lot more experimental now that we have so much more time to sit on our ass and not do anything.
True.
But beforehand, it was like sometimes, you know, I would go through an entire day and, you know, say I have work the next day. Well, I only have like an hour to justify sitting on my ass and watching TV. So what am I going to watch? Am I going to watch the Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode that I know is hilarious and is going to make me feel good about my piece of shit life that I had going on at the time? Or am I gonna try out goddamn Mindhunter and see how that makes me feel? Am I gonna be compelled or am I gonna feel like shit because it's kind of dark? Like, let's just go with the thing that's guaranteed to, you know, put serotonin into my brain for the first time today. And it's 8:30.
Well, there's also like run times to consider. Like you were saying just now, like sometimes when I finish on my day, like, okay, I'll wrap up my day around 5-6 o'clock, having been worked the full day. And then I have dinner with my parents. And then maybe I'll hang out with a friend, like, you know, carefully hang out with a friend.
Yeah.
Or like play a game for a little bit. But before you know it, it's 10 o'clock. I gotta be in bed in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I can't really, I don't want to like, I know I could, and I do this sometimes, but like a 45-minute thing is like 75% of that time.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot. Like, sometimes I like to do a few things.
Yeah.
So I'll pick like, okay, I can watch 1.5 episodes of Lovecraft Country or something, which is great, by the way.
Okay.
Or I could watch like 7 episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you shoot for the bag of chips as opposed to making yourself a full course meal at 10 o'clock.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That'll be my analogy for today.
Yeah, for sure. No, I totally get that. Time management, man. Is this compelling to you? Is this working for the audience?
I hope so.
I hope you're enjoying this.
Yeah.
I hope you relate, because like that's what I'm going through.
I'll be honest with you, making my life stricter in recent days has done nothing but benefit me.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest with
Giving
you.
yourself some structure.
Structure. I mean, tons of structure. I'll beat out every single day what I want to do, like 2-hour chunks a day. And then I've even said to myself, I mean, I haven't been good on it because plans change. And like, what am I going to do? Be strict about my fun time? You know? So I usually have Monday nights off. So I'll be like, oh, this Monday I'm going to watch a movie I've always wanted to watch. You know, and I'll put it in my calendar and everything to like remind myself, like, hey, watch a movie. And then like, I haven't watched anything yet. So, you know, I guess that hasn't been working. But for more like work related stuff, it's kept me on schedule. You know, like projects that I've been working on are like making progress and, you know, things are getting done. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Things are starting to get a little bit busier with me, and I'm going to have to...
Yeah, you want to share good news?
I'm going to have to really... Well, I just... I reached out to a former prof for writing help, and I wound up getting a job out of it.
An
it's like
older
the nutshell. Sorry, a former prof. Sorry, Toby.
No, you said former. I'm just chirping you.
Okay. Yeah, like wound up getting an apprenticeship out of it, like a paid apprenticeship, which is super cool. So I'm going to be working for his dramaturgy firm that he and a playwright friend of his and another prof friend of his have started up recently, which is really exciting. I'm going to get to learn a lot and expand my skill set, which is something that I've been wanting to do really badly. I want to expand the things that I can do in this industry so that I can, if it's ever, you know, when I need to get a job again, I can get a job in the industry and I don't have to go back to working retail when that time comes, because I never want to work in a store again if I can help it.
If you can help
I will do it if it needs to pay bills, but like,
well, I mean, at some point
I really don't want to.
The grim reality, Sam, is that at some point we are going to run out of money.
Yeah.
You know.
So, I'm just kind of doing that, and I'm writing a play right now about being biracial and like the biracial experience. No,
that's fine.
Not one that I want to put on a podcast right now. Like, we have like a thing that we're calling it, but I don't want to put that on wax just yet.
Sure. I was gonna make dumb jokes about what it could be, but whatever. Keep going.
No. But I was talking to my partner, Alton, that I'm working on it with, and we had the conversation where we were like, we need a team. Like, we need a director on this. We need producers. Like, shit's getting real. We really have something here, and we're really trying to put it out there. So, like,
so exciting.
Let's apply for some grants so that we can pay some people and get more eyes on this and really get the ball rolling so that we can have a show with legs that
Bust
we
out
can put out
the management notes you took back in university. Get out those grant writing notes, baby.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, terrifying.
Oh, it's not
I was actually
terrifying.
talking about this. Yes, it is. It is terrifying to realize your dreams. It's a scary thing, but it's important to do it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Gotta
like
face your
that's the
fears.
thing they never tell you about making your dreams come true is that when a thing lives inside of your head, it's like weird and uncanny and really fucking scary.
And you understand
to see it, or even acknowledge the potential of it existing outside of your own body at some point. That's for the first time, at least. I'm sure you get used to it. You know, I'm sure Steven Spielberg is used to it at this point. But the first time to think that the little feelings in my head that I've been carrying around, and it's so autobiographical that like these feelings that I've been carrying around in my body and dealing with my entire life will live on a stage for people to see and consume is like so weird for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's a documentary aspect to it, and the fact that I'm gonna talk to people in my life who are important to me, and other people will be able to like see those conversations and consume it when it's been 100% private for my entire life is like so scary. But I just got to keep telling myself like this was the dream. Like this is exactly what you wanted to do. This is what you're supposed to be doing with this time that you've been given, and this is what you're supposed to be doing with all of the work that you've put into learning about art and how to make theater and film. And like, it's a good scary, you know, it's scary, but it's a good scary. This isn't a like, oh my God, I'm unprepared for this. This is a time to use the skills that you've built up.
It's daunting.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think I get what you mean when you say scary, but I personally use the word daunting. Like it's large and like the most intimidating thing you've ever done before.
No, it's just, I feel like it's important to say that it's scary, but that you pushed through and did it anyways.
Sure.
You know, I want to use the term scary to kind of like take the sting out of it, because when something is scary, that doesn't always mean that you're not supposed to do it. You know?
No, yeah, that's, yeah.
So
it's like therapy advice right there.
I just want to like harness that fear and just like walk with it and be like, okay. You know, Bill Hader tells a really good story about this because he suffers from anxiety really badly, like performance anxiety really badly, which is like wild because he's an SNL alumnus and like one of the most beloved actors to ever spend time on that show.
Sure.
And he has the worst anxiety about performing on stage. And I forget who was on. I think it was somebody big and iconic, like Robert De Niro or something like that. But somebody really important was guest starring on the show that week, and he saw Bill Hader like sweating on stage and was like, you know what you got to do? Like, you got to take that fear and be like, okay, like this is coming with me while I do what's going to scare me anyways. You know, like it's going to be by my side while I do the scary thing, and I'm not going to ignore it, and I'm not going to try and cure it. It's just going to live with me.
You have to get used to it, yeah.
And right now, like the concept of finding a director and a producer, especially a director, because the director is taking like my life and like telling me how to act it out. It's scary, but it's a fear that I have to take with me.
Right.
And I think I have to do that. And it's so weird to like tell myself these things, you know? I feel like Simba right now, where it's just like I just gotta do this.
Are you gonna kill your uncle?
I just gotta do this, maybe.
Right.
But I have to do this really, really daunting thing that I want to hide away from in this paradise that I've carved out for myself. But that paradise is ultimately not serving to me. It doesn't serve, like I have my Timon and Pumbaa and like, you know, like our moms and our family who will just like do, like they'll go along with whatever I want to do, whether it's good for me or not. But there comes a time where I have to like go to my own Pride Rock and like claim it for myself.
Right.
And that's so scary.
Yeah.
but I got to do it.
And that's great. I mean, hey, like you having processed this far along means that you're in a good place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're acknowledging your fear, but
Yeah.
you're acknowledging that it's scary, but I can't honestly think that you're afraid of it.
Yeah.
You don't seem afraid. It's a good thing.
I've come too far to be afraid, Cam.
Is your play finished?
No.
Can I read it?
It's not finished.
Right, but I mean, I want to read what you have.
No.
I mean, okay.
No, you can read a couple things because I've shared a couple things with other people, so I guess like you can read it. It's just like I don't want, like it would just be me showing it to you.
I wouldn't give you feedback you don't want.
Yeah,
We talked about that this podcast.
It's not like I don't want criticism right now. It's just like it's in the works, and I know it's in the works. And right now, what I have is just like a brain dump. So I don't want critique on something that I just like churned out in like 20 minutes.
I mean, that's fine.
You know, like let me actually try and make it good, and then you can tell me how to make it better. Well, don't criticize a brain dump. That's stupid. Well, of course, it doesn't look good. Of course, it doesn't make any sense. I dumped it out.
I wasn't planning on doing that, Sam. I'm not a monster.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's not bad at all. It's just like I would like to show you something with a little bit more structure. I would like to show you a first draft. I don't even have a first draft right now. I just have a bunch of thoughts about growing up biracial that I have brain dumped into a Google Drive and shared with my partner who is also biracial. And, you know, he definitely sees that there's something there, but he's helping me format it into something watchable.
Right.
I don't have anything watchable right now.
Yeah, you don't have a play.
I'll let you read it when it's like readable / something that you can envision being watchable.
Okay. I mean, sorry. I mean, again, not to, based on what you were saying, I had thought that you had maybe like a couple of scenes or something.
No.
Which is fine.
I have a couple monologues that are not edited or like formatted at all to be anything that anyone would want to watch.
Sure.
They're just kind of a rant or like me telling a story, you know? It'll be like, X happened, it made me feel like Y, and then it ended up as Z, you know?
Right.
Like, that's all I got.
I mean, that's still that's the process, baby.
Yeah. It is the process, and I'm taking part of it, so shut the fuck up and let me finish it, and then I'll show it to you.
I'm not, okay, fucking Jesus.
I don't know, like, now that I'm doing something for real, I feel like I have even more credence to criticize the bad shit that people put out. So now I'm like, fuck you, Michael Bay, my play is gonna be better than you. My play is going to be better than the entire Transformers franchise. You can eat my butt.
Hey, man, whatever keeps you putting pen to paper and, you know, key to page, right?
Yeah.
Like
I feel like a Psych 101 student. You know?
Yeah.
You know, when like they take...
You think you take one course and all of a sudden you think you could like
after their first
diagnose everyone?
Yeah, after their first week of classes, they're like, I think you have bipolar disorder. And I'm like, you have absolutely zero grounds to say that, but whatever. Yeah. You read 2 chapters of your textbook. You have a little bit more knowledge on this than when you started.
You read 2 chapters, smoked a joint, and fucked some dude in a dorm. No.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that I'm antisocial.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now. It's like I wrote like 2 monologues and now I'm like, and then I watched a Michael Bay trailer and I was like, I'm better than this.
Yeah, fuck you, Michael Bay.
I'm better than this.
Who cares if he wrote the Bad Boys movies? Did he write them? Or he may have only directed them.
I don't think he wrote them. I think he just directed them.
Yeah.
Those are good movies.
They are pretty good.
Well,
you like the third one,
I think he directed the second one.
I think he did both, actually. I'm not too sure.
I know he directed the second one for sure because the first one is like fine, and then the second one like Will Smith like catches somebody's decapitated head in his bare hands, and it's like, whoa.
It's like, what is happening?
This is so much different.
You liked the third one. You and Brad went to go see it, didn't you?
It was fun. The first, oh no, Michael Bay did direct the first one. And I know he directed the second one. And then
I think he's at all of them, if I'm not mistaken.
He didn't direct Bad Boys for Life.
Oh, okay. Who did that one?
Bilal Fallah and Adil El Arbi directed Bad Boys for Life.
I'm not familiar.
Me neither. But he does make a cameo in Bad Boys for Life. Michael Bay does.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
actually kind of funny.
Really? What happens?
They go to some big fancy party with a bunch of girls in bikinis, and you look around and you're like, I wonder if this is where Michael Bay shows up. And then he does, and you're like, yes. That makes sense.
There he is.
This makes sense.
There he is.
Yeah. But it's a great addition to the franchise. I love it.
You said you liked it. I mean, you actually genuinely like the Bad Boys movies.
They're great movies. They're super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was like early Michael Bay before he got full of himself.
Before he drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, Megan Fox was only 15 in that first movie, so like.
Oh, she is in that first movie.
Didn't have time. Yeah, remember that was the movie where she was 15 years old and he put her in like an American flag bikini, and he was like, fine, she could like she's hot, she can be in this movie, but like she's underage, so just don't touch her. Or she can only have like 5 seconds of screen time. She's like in a crowd of other girls in bikinis. But
she is legitimately 15 years old.
Yeah,
though.
She's very young.
Is she playing to be like a 19-year-old?
Yeah, they're in a club.
That's gross.
They're like, just don't give her any booze, obviously, and don't give her a ton of screen time, but give her a little bit of screen time because she is hot.
That's weird, man. I don't like
it's
that.
So creepy.
I don't like that whatsoever.
It's so fucking creepy. He's such a creep.
Michael Bay, come on the podcast. We'll talk it out.
I don't want to talk it out. we can talk it out with my fists.
Nice one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk it out with these knuckle sandwiches.
Yeah.
You're very scary, Sam.
Why don't I talk it out with my foot up your ass, huh?
You're about as scary as a corgi.
I am.
You know, you're like, you're cute and cuddly, but if you piss it off, it'll rip your hand off.
Have I ever scared you?
No.
Have I ever reacted to something in a way where you, like it like scared you that I got so
feared
mad?
for my life?
No, not feared for your life, but just like, you know, you saw like the horns come out and you were like, wow, so that's Sam when she's angry.
Don't get mad.
Okay.
No.
Oh.
Because I'm very numb to it. I'm very used to you, Sam. We've been dating for 5 years. It's not a bad thing, but when you get like blow up angry, it happens
a lot,
which doesn't happen often. I don't know.
I thought it was like a boy cried wolf situation where it's like I blow up at so much that's like when I'm genuinely mad, it's just like it doesn't mean anything because I got mad about this like, absolutely insane social injustice that just occurred, but I also got mad that, somebody didn't use their blinker when they turned right just now.
Right.
So it's like
no, there's different levels. You have different levels.
Yeah.
Levels like 1 to 3 are all just like minor shit. Like you'll be like, oh, that's annoying. And then like, whatever. Levels like 4, 5, 6, and 7 is where it gets tricky because those all can be samey. And if you're not careful, you might judge a 4, but it's actually a 7. And then you've dug a grave, right? Like, then you're in the bad parts. 8, 9, and 10 are completely their own tier.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen you at a 10 before. No, I've definitely seen you at a 10 before.
I mean, tell the story.
No.
Why not? I want to know.
No.
Please.
I'll tell you why after.
Is it depressing?
I just don't think you'd want to say it on the podcast. Okay, guys. Listen. It's been a good podcast.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week with more. We upload this podcast every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on YouTube.
Wait, do you want to talk about yourself for a little bit?
No.
Okay.
I got nothing to share.
Okay. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, YouTube, goddamn Google Podcasts.
You say Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, I said Apple Podcasts like first. Listen to me, goddamn it. I mean, you can find us. I'm joking.
Okay.
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. Keep up with all of our happenings and our videos and our uploads that way. You can also follow us on twitch.tv/chillspot. If you like Twitch streams, we stream 3 times a week. You can also find our schedules. We post them on our social media and we announce them on Twitch there as well. And you can join our Discord if you want to. We would love it if that is how you access us, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if you want to.
If you really want to talk to us that bad, that'd be the way to do it.
And everybody else in there who is like super cool and
the
nice.
Coolest. We have the coolest Discord ever, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. And that's all we got for you today, everybody.
It's cool.
Go out there, be nice to each other.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.